Y'all, my feet are killing me. I have been on my feet this entire weekend. I went to 3 concerts and I'm still recovering from last night. I had just got back from Blink 182, but last night I went to Taylor Swift, and that's what I want to talk about today. So, I went to Taylor's show on Saturday and it was raining. I mean, it was midnight rain, literally. Like, it was so cold. It was frigid. Thankfully, I was moving a lot, so that kind of helped. But it was a very, very rainy rain show. It was a little bit off and on, but very, very much a downpour. And I have to give it to Taylor and all of her background dancers and everybody else who works in the production. They did such an amazing job. I actually think being in the rain made it look a lot cooler. There were just so many cinematic shots of the rain coming down and just splashing around everywhere. I thought it was actually pretty awesome. But as far as the show itself, this was the Eras tour. It was absolutely incredible. This was the first Taylor show that I had seen live. I've seen videos of her other performances and her other tours, so I know that she's an amazing performer, but being there, it just felt so incredible. The energy was tangible. Everybody there knew all the lyrics. All of the Swifties, they all came out in their dresses and their outfits. Sadly enough, since it was raining, ponchos were pretty much covering everybody's outfits, but whatever. It is what it is. The show was just absolutely outstanding. She did around a 3.5 hour set. I mean, it was as long as The Godfather. Like, literally, it was a long show. And it felt it. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it really did feel long because it felt comprehensive. We have to remember, she hasn't toured a full album since Reputation. And in that time, she's released, what, 4 new albums? Yeah, 4 new albums and then her re recordings, but she had a lot of time to catch up with. And she did do mostly, I would say, Folklore, Evermore, and Midnight. Those sections definitely got the most airplay. I don't want to go into too many spoilers in case you want to see her and you don't want the song spoiled. But I will say there probably will be spoilers, so if you don't want to hear them, then don't listen. But those were definitely the biggest sections. She actually didn't do as much of Lover as I thought she would. She did open with it. She opened with, again, spoilers, but she did open with Miss Americana, which I thought was a really cool song to open with. And it just goes to show she has good taste in her own music because Miss Americana has always been my favorite song off of Lover. So her starting with that, I was like, all right, Miss Taylor, I see you. You got good taste in your own music. We love to see it. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that I could really remember most of the beginning because I was crying for the majority of it. I'm not kidding. I cried more at this concert than I had cried at any concert in my life. Like, it was just the fact that I was seeing her. I think that's what it was. And she went into Fearless era, I think after Lover. Was it right after the Lover era? It was early on in the show. And she was doing You Belong With Me and Love Story. And it's not like those songs are sad, but they just made me feel very nostalgic. So I was bawling. I mean, thank God it was raining because no one could tell. Well, I guess they could tell because I had my hands on my face, but I was just losing it, absolutely losing it. I think it was just the power of her discography and just how much her songs like have a meaning to so many people, and I really felt that energy last night. You could just tell everybody there loved her and were such huge fans, which obviously they had to have been because they probably paid $7,000 to get like nosebleed seats. Crazy. I have to say I was lucky because my friend got us tickets and she managed to snag them early, and we were pretty damn close to the stage. I mean, it wasn't floor seats or anything, but like in the section over, and she scored them for under 400. So I was very happy about that. God must love us or something. I don't know what it was, but we got good karma. We literally got good karma. So if I did have some critiques about the set list, I feel like it's kind of stupid to really say any critiques because she did so many songs. I think she did like what, 40 songs? So just an absolutely insane amount. And I'm not trying to like say, oh my god, it wasn't good or anything. No, it was a 10 out of 10. It was an 11 out of 10 show. Let's get that straight. But if I did just have to say something I would have liked to see, I don't think she represented her debut era at all. I mean, we did get a surprise song, which was Invisible from her first album, and I actually liked that. I mean, Invisible, I won't lie, it's not one of my favorite Taylor songs, but it's a really cool one to hear live, especially since it is from her debut, so I liked seeing that, but there was not even the section where she sang Our Song, or Should Have Said No, or Tim McGraw. I would have liked to see at least one song from her debut, but she said we don't acknowledge that era. She was not going back then. She went back to Fearless, and she was not going any further, I guess. I do wish that she would have done more Speak Now songs. Speak Now is my baby. That is a child, and that child was abused last night. It was neglected. That innocent little thing. She only sang Enchanted from Speak Now. No Sparks Fly, no Mine, no Back to December, no Story of Us, no Ours, no Better Than Revenge. I could just go through all of it. And again, I shouldn't be complaining here because she did do 40 songs. I get it. But for an Eras tour, I'm just saying, if you're doing the greatest hits, objectively Sparks Fly is one of them, and Back to December is also one of them. So I was a little shocked at the lack of it. And it's not even like it's because she's re-recording it right now and she hasn't had Speak Now Taylor's version come out, because she did plenty of 1989 songs. She did plenty of songs from Rep, so why couldn't she do more from Speak Now? It's not like she was waiting for the other albums to be re-recorded and re-released as Taylor's version. So I don't know, man. I just would have liked to see more Speak Now. That's all. But in terms of everything else, I mean, again, she's Taylor Swift. She puts on an amazing performance. And it's not like she's a vocal powerhouse. And I don't say that to be shady. We know it. She's not like a singer. She doesn't have like the most powerful vocals. But it's just the way that she commands a stage. And the way that you could sense her genuineness. She was just so happy, and like I could really see it. She really looked like she was having fun. I mean, maybe she wasn't. Maybe she went backstage and was like, oh my god, why did I have to do that in the rain? But at the very least, she put on a good show of seeming like she was happy. I don't know. And she did a lot of talking to the audience, which I love. I love when an audience has the banter with the audience. And she did a lot of it. I think she did like a little speech section in between most eras. I don't know if it was in between every era, but she made sure to talk to the audience, which I really appreciated. I think that just makes a nice connection. And yeah, the set list, it was great. I loved the Reputation era part. That was so hype. Hearing Ready for It and Look What You Made Me Do. Like the transition from, was it Don't Blame Me into Look What You Made Me Do? So good. It was just such a hype set. I loved the Reputation part. And like I said before, she did a lot of Folklore and Evermore. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing, but for me, I like those albums. Don't get me wrong. They're not necessarily albums that I get lit to. They're not really hype albums. So, as much as I like them, you really need to go into this tour knowing you're going to hear those songs mostly. I would say a good fourth of the set list was Folklore and Evermore songs. Again, not a bad thing at all, but for someone like me who just enjoys more fun songs, I guess, it could get a little tiring. I don't want to say tiring, more just, I don't know, the energy I feel just can't really be kept up when you're singing slower songs like that, and those two albums are pretty slow, but not a bad thing at all because those albums are great and they are just different and they needed to be represented because she hasn't toured them because she didn't have really the opportunity to because they were released during the pandemic. So I understand why she did a lot from those ones. And of course she did a lot from Midnights as well. That was the ending section. She ended with Karma, which I remember I was looking at the set list before and I was like, that's an interesting one to end on. I didn't think that it was a bad one to end on. I was more just surprised that it was that one. But I will say, being there in the flesh and hearing it just go off was so incredible. That was an absolutely fabulous closer. I think that was a great way to close out the show. And after that, when we were leaving, they played You're On Your Own Kid. And I was like, girl, you couldn't have sang that one live. I mean, I just love that song, so I would have loved to hear that live. But it was actually kind of nice walking out to it because everybody was singing along with it. I guess she needs to save one fan favorite for the walking out song because let me tell you, we took a while walking out. Just a little backstory, we parked in a parking lot that was nearby the stadium. Well, I say nearby, it was a good mile, and we were walking in the rain all the way there, and it was fine on the way there. It was like whatever, I could deal, but on the way back, it was frigid. It was so cold, and it was just this whole mass of people walking back, stomping through some puddles. Craziness, absolutely craziness. And it was fun, I guess. I think it was kind of funny that we got a rain show and you know we have that experience now, but would I want to go to another rain show? Hell no, absolutely not. I am good with one. I took a shower when I got home because I needed to warm these bones up. It was absolutely freezing. I thought that me dancing would have warmed me up, but no, it was just that cold. So I don't know, I liked the fact that we got to see some really cool shots of her in the rain, but I wouldn't go to another rain show, I'm just saying. But that was the Eras tour. Absolutely incredible. If you want to go, highly recommend it. I don't know if you could get tickets now. I don't know that whole mess. I'm just lucky that my friend was able to get us tickets. I don't know what the whole thing is with Ticketmaster and the queues and the resale tickets. Just mess all around. Concerts should not be this expensive. It's insanity. You shouldn't have to choose between a mortgage and going to a concert, but that's how it is, I guess. I don't know. We are just lucky that we got in early. So that was the Taylor Swift Eras tour. Absolutely phenomenal. If you've gone to it, tell me your experiences down below. I want to hear. And if you went to the rain show on Saturday, I would absolutely love to hear that as well. So that was it. Thank you for listening. Now, see you next time.